Well, we're continuing our discussion here on Nevada Week Extras, and we were talking about the Work and Save bill. We want to go into more detail about that. Nancy, what are some of the additional benefits we didn't get to cover on the show that are written into this bill right now related to short-term lending?
So one of the aspects of this bill, which I think would be a benefit to Nevadans, is that it allows you to, once you have the vehicle or you have your IRA, if there's an emergency, you can take out your savings against the balance that you have. And we've heard in several legislative sessions the issue of payday loans, and the use of payday loans is a huge issue because with sort of rising healthcare costs, we find that a lot of people sort of dip into their savings or have to, in order to pay for medicine, can't make rent and then have to go to a payday loan. And so I think this sort of structure within the bill would allow us to address, some of the other challenges Nevadans face that then lead them to go to a payday loan provider, which charge 200 or 300% interest. And so I think there's a double benefit to this program.
Right, and I know one of the things in some of the payday lending bills is that there aren't other options that we have in the financial sector to take care of short-term lending other than the short-term lending storefronts.
Exactly.
Right. Wondering about other policies, and I'm thinking more of just the private sector. David and Jason, you're both financial advisors. Do you see things that are reoccurring in planning for retirement that you think maybe in the financial sector, potentially other sectors, if there were just a little bit of a tweak to how a policy is working, could really improve how much retirement an individual has? And Jason, I'll start with you.
Yeah, less from a policy perspective, because I definitely like the idea of having to opt out, which is more difficult, and you don't feel it if it's gone initially, but so much is a function of education and behavior. So I'm always stuck on this one idea, the notion that average savings, I believe, is right around 5-7%, and suddenly we're supposed to work for 20, 30 years, and that 5 or 7% is then supposed to replace our entire income for 10, 20, 30, 40 years. So that's a beginning. It's a component of savings, what can be dictated through public policy, but it needs to be complemented by other aggressive savings and investing and, of course, protecting.
David, how about you? You see anything that you think can be fixed by a policy change?
Policy is very difficult. It's human behavior that I have to look at. The fact, as you mentioned, Jason, the fact that people are living, when I was young, we expected people to live to be 68. Well, Social Security started at 65, so you had 3 years in Social Security. Today, people are living to be 77 on the average. It's a lot of money to be paying out in Social Security. And 1 in 4 people, or 25% of the population today, live to be in their 90s. By the time millennials get to be retirees, they'll be living into the 95 and about 20% into 100. So the idea that, gee, I'm saving for my retirement is changing. It's no longer 5-10 years. We're looking, as you say, 30 years out.
Yeah.
It's incredible the amount of money that we need to save. As was stated, $275,000 is your medical expense, estimated medical expense in retirement.